Ignatius loomed before them, a crimson-shrouded orb nestled in the cosmic expanse. The explorers stepped onto its virgin soil, unaware of the malignant forces stirring beneath. This was to be humanity's newest foothold among the stars, a world ripe for colonization according to the promising initial surveys. From the moment they ventured into the dense forest, an eerie sense of wrongness permeated the air. Strange cries echoed through the alien foliage, emanating from unseen creatures that seemed to watch their every move with primal hunger. The dying rays of Ignatius's senescent star filtered through the canopy, casting an ominous ruddy hue across the landscape. Then they stumbled upon a horrific sight, a massive ancient being feasting on the remains of one of their scientists. Part Leviathan predator, part sentient nightmare, the grotesque creature rose up on its haunches, emitting a soul-piercing cry that chilled their blood. The soldiers reacted instinctively, opening fire with their advanced laser weaponry, but their fusillade only succeeded in bursting the fetid, spore-covered pustules coating the creature's gangrenous hide. Noxious, fluorescent clouds billowed outwards, engulfing the explorers in hallucinogenic spores that insidiously invaded their bodies. One by one, the colony members succumbed to the spore's insidious effects, helpless as their bodies transmuted from the inside out. Their flesh warped and mutated, fusing with Ignatius's alien biosphere in grotesque fusions of plant and animal life. Bulbous fungal growths erupted from their tissues, subsuming them into the planet's interlinked mycelial network. It became terrifyingly clear that Ignatius was no mere terrestrial body, but a vast interconnected living system comprised of subterranean fungal filaments. An ancient eldritch entity as old as the cosmos itself, with its pseudopodic tendrils stretching out across infinite light years. The colonists were nothing more than potential biomass to feed its endless ravenous hunger. The expedition's advanced weapons were useless against the terrifying fungal monsters and undead skeletons that emerged from below. These horrific creatures easily killed many of the explorers. Adding to their fear, the red atmosphere of Ignatius distorted reality, causing them to see horrific hallucinations and visions of the dead. The planet's toxic air broke down their sanity, making it hard for the explorers to think clearly. Their rationality and sense of reality were rapidly falling apart. Amidst the nightmarish chaos, their ultimate downfall arrived in the guise of Lieutenant Sharon Chen, once a trusted comrade, now a mind-controlled avatar of the sinister planetary mycelium. Wearing the familiar face of an ally, she lured the few remaining survivors deeper into the fungal hellscape under the pretense of providing refuge. It was the final trap sealing their inescapable, eldritch fates. Any hope of rescue or sanity quickly vanished. The last members of the team were irresistibly drawn into the gaping maws of giant fungal monsters. Their numbers dwindled with each encounter until only anguished screams remained, abruptly cut short one by one. Finally, the explorers' fragmented selves were completely absorbed into Ignatius's eternal cycle of undeath and rebirth. Any trace of their individual identities was extinguished, their bodies repurposed as nutrients for an ancient cosmic intelligence. The cycle continued, indifferent to the loss of life, driven by a force far older and more vast than the explorers could comprehend. Their existence became part of a timeless cosmic process. When the long-awaited Earth retrieval ship at last arrived in Ignatius's orbit, all they encountered was desolation. The colony's hastily constructed structures had been almost entirely reclaimed by the planet's relentless cycle of fungal expansion and mitosis, torn apart and overgrown, already fading back into the worm cycles. No human life signatures registered, no survivors to be recovered, no artifacts, data logs or records to study and glean answers about what fell terrors had befallen the ill-fated expedition. Only the ghostly ruins remained as silent epitaphs to the oblivion which had subsumed the colonists. The scary stuff inside Ignatius was so huge and scary that the people from our world couldn't understand it. It was like a big spooky emptiness where you could almost hear the screams of the people who went there before and got destroyed. It's a reminder of how crazy things can get when you try to explore places far away in space. When the rescue team landed, they felt the creepiness of Ignatius all around them. They were super careful, using their fancy gear to look for any signs of life or anything left from the old colony. Among the ghostly ruins, they found twisted remnants of human and plant life fused together in grotesque forms. Trees with human faces, crying out in silent agony. Flowers that pulsed with a heartbeat. The retrieval team's horror grew with each discovery. This was not just a failed colony, it was a nightmare etched into the very fabric of the planet. In the heart of the overgrown colony, they found a massive fungal structure pulsating with an eerie light. The structure seemed alive, breathing in a slow, rhythmic pattern. The team's biologist, Dr. Mercer, hypothesized that this was the central node of the planet's mycelial network, the brain of Ignatius. As they approached, the ground beneath them trembled. From the shadows, fungal monstrosities emerged, guardians of their ancient cosmic entity. The team opened fire, but their bullets and lasers were as ineffective as those of the original explorers. The creatures advanced, relentless and unyielding. Desperation set in. They had come prepared for a rescue mission, not a battle for survival. Commander Reeves ordered a retreat, but the path back to their ship was blocked. The fungal creatures had encircled them, cutting off any escape. In a last-ditch effort, they deployed an experimental device designed to disrupt the mycelial network. The device emitted a high-frequency pulse, aimed at severing the connections between the fungal filaments. For a moment, the creatures halted, disoriented. Seizing the opportunity, the team sprinted towards their ship. The device's effects were temporary, and the creatures quickly recovered, resuming their pursuit. As they reached the ship, one of the team members, Private Jensen, was grabbed by a monstrous tendril and pulled into the darkness. His screams echoed through the air, abruptly silenced. The remaining team members managed to board the ship and initiate the launch sequence. As they ascended, they looked back at the planet, its surface now a writhing mass of fungal growths. Ignatius was alive, aware, and hostile. Once in orbit, they transmitted their findings back to Earth. The message was clear. Ignatius was a death trap, a planet that consumed all who dared to tread upon it. The retrieval ship would be quarantined upon return, and a warning would be issued to prevent any future expeditions. As the ship sped away from Ignatius, the crew could still feel the oppressive presence of the planet lingering in their minds. The horrors they had witnessed would haunt them forever, a stark reminder of the unknown terrors that lurk in the far reaches of space. Ignatius remained, a crimson orb in the void, its hunger insatiable. It waited, biding its time for the next unwitting explorers to fall into its trap. And somewhere in the depths of space, the echoes of the doomed colonists' screams continued to reverberate, a haunting testament to the planet's malevolent sentience. If this eerie Ignatius tale gave you chills and left you curious about cosmic horrors, like and subscribe to Astral Journeys for more spine-tingling stories. Until next time, I will be watching and waiting.